Well, hi, everyone, and welcome to the first in a series of conversations with some of our favorite travel partners to talk about what makes them truly special and to share with you how you can experience amazing vacations with them when travel returns shortly. Hey, over the next 6 weeks, we're going to speak with some of the best travel companies in their respective categories, ranging from ocean and river cruises to destination specialists to small group curated tour providers and luxury rail vacations. But today, for our inaugural interview in this series, I'm honored to introduce to you co-owner and executive vice president of AmaWaterways, Kristin Karst. Kristin, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Bob, for having me. It's an honor and a pleasure to be here together with you.
Thank you. Thank you. Likewise. So let me start off with this, if I may. Vicki and I, have been and are big fans of AmaWaterways. Ever since we sailed the Danube with you just a little over 2 years ago, just a fabulous experience. And that was our first river cruising experience. So we've become very familiar with you. We've certainly recommended you to a lot of our clients over the last couple of years, but I'm sure that there are some people that are watching this, Kristin, who may not be quite as familiar with AmaWaterways. So can you take a few minutes and introduce us to your company, if you will?
Of course, absolutely, Bob. So AmaWaterways started 18 years ago. We opened the doors on July 1st, 2002. We are a family-owned company. So my husband, Rudy Schreiner, he's our president. He's also called the godfather of river cruising. He grew up in Vienna on the Danube River. And he actually was the one who recognized in 1992, when the Main-Danube Canal was built, that a new vacation concept could be born. So the Main-Danube Canal is connecting actually the Rhine River with the Main and the Danube, and makes it possible that ships can cruise now physically from the North Sea to the Black Sea. Now this would be 3 weeks. Not everyone wants to do it, but it is possible. So he actually started to build the very first ships when he was with Uniworld, in charge of the product to get river cruising off the ground. Opened Viking River Cruises as the very first president in the United States of Viking. And 2 years later, we founded together AmaWaterways. Now, when I say family-owned company, we have some additional owners in our company. The Murphy family, the late Jimmy Murphy, he came from Ireland and created one of the largest tour operators in the US, Brandon Worldwide Vacations. His son Gary is actually continuing the legacy of Jimmy now. He is our senior vice president of sales. And all of us coming from Europe, I would say, had a very humble upbringing. So for my accent, you can see I was born in Germany. I lived in Switzerland for 8 years. I was an executive with American Express and moved over to California, joined actually Viking, where I met Rudy and Jimmy Murphy later. And when we decided to open our company, we had one goal in mind. The goal was to do the very, very best for our guests, to create the most beautiful vacation experience on the river. And we were always very innovative to do so. So we started building beautiful ships with our signature twin balcony staterooms. Most of our staterooms have the size of suites. We were the first ones to bring internet, free wireless internet on board, the first ones to bring bicycles on board, because there are so many beautiful bike paths along all the rivers, and everyone is becoming more active. We started with hiking tours. We brought a wellness host on board. We made sure that we have the finest wines included with lunch and dinner, the finest wines from the regions. Now everyone enjoys wine, and today even more. We offer over 70 wine experience cruises on the different rivers. And so we built our fleet slowly in those 18 years, 1 or 2 ships per year. Last year it was 3 ships, but today we can say proudly we own and operate 24 ships on the rivers in Europe, the Rhine, the Main, the Moselle, the Danube, of course, the lower Danube. In France, the Seine, the Rhone River in Bordeaux, the Douro River, and also on the Mekong River in Vietnam and Cambodia, as well as in Africa. And the Zambezi Queen is our smallest vessel with only 28 guests on board, 14 suites, while our European vessels have an average of 140 to 150 guests on board, I can say. So a very small, inclusive, personal atmosphere. Pretty much everything is included. Different types of shore excursions in small groups, wonderful cuisine with a chef's table restaurant, and it's really a product that everyone enjoys, no matter what age they are.
Very good, very good. Now, let me ask you this, Kristin. Consumers, as we all know, they place a great deal of value on ratings and reviews before they make a purchase decision. So what would you say your guests say differentiates AmaWaterways from the other options that they have available to them?
Absolutely. So I always say, no matter how beautiful our ships are, how much innovation goes into this product, it's all about the human connection. It's about the genuine service that our crew is giving. When you step on board, you're welcome truly as a family. And it is about the cuisine. And we are very, very proud that Berlitz, many of you probably know Berlitz here from the language school, but Berlitz does so much more. They have an ocean cruise guide and a river cruise guide out. And for all the last years, AmaWaterways was rated as the #1 by Berlitz, and many of our ships took the top positions. And they come unannounced on more than 300 river cruise ships that are cruising, actually, not right now, but usually cruise, and rate everything from functionality and beauty of the ship, the infrastructure on board, the service that the crew gives, hygiene, inclusiveness, the best value, if I can say so. It's not necessarily the lowest price. It is typically the best value because you have only one life. You don't want to compromise, and even more when you fly from the United States, it's a long flight. It's 12 hours most likely to fly over. So you want to enjoy just a terrific week without any compromises. And that's what you get with AmaWaterways. Now, being family owned means we have also very short communication lines. And that's what you know as our travel partners. Our foundation are the travel partners. We don't work directly. This is also why maybe your clients do not know too much about us, because we don't advertise too much in consumer magazines. We really spread the love among our travel partners. We are very supportive there because we know our travel partners are supportive to us. And you know, you go on all the products, you can, of course, compare and decide and listen to your clients, what they are looking for, and then make your recommendation. And so that's why, in addition to the Berlitz Awards, we are very proud that all the different travel consortia and ASTA is the American Society of the Travel Partners, have voted us for many years as the #1 river cruise line and as the #1 supporting travel partner. And that drives us forward. And it's also a great way for us to say we would love to earn this award in the future again. This truly, truly keeps us going. And our team is extremely dedicated. We are not a no company. Flexibility is the key. And all our team members understand that. Our reservations department has a toolkit. They can work with you depending on your client's needs. they don't always have to ask us supervisors if they can make a decision or not. And I think that's very important, that you empower your staff, your team, because everyone is an entrepreneur and everyone wants to grow. And we are backing up decisions no matter what. But for us, ultimately, all of us, our team, our family, our partners in Europe, is that the AmaWaterways ships are the most beautiful ones, the most service-oriented ones, that our clients just feel like being home away from home in a very luxury environment. And there will be so much more to come in the years to go, because the AmaMagna, our double wide ship, luxury of space, that we introduced last year, exactly a year ago, with so many advantages. It's the #1 river cruise ship in the world. There are so many more things that can be done, always having the client in mind.
Well, I'm going to show an image of a AmaMagna while we're talking here, Kristin, but there's one thing, and I'm not good at doing many things at the same time, so give me the opportunity to pull that image up here. I'll share that. And I do want you to speak to the AmaMagna here in a moment, but one thing that you did not say, which I think needs to be said because of our experience with AmaWaterways, is the service is incredible. And I'll just give the audience here one example from our trip. Thankfully, it didn't happen to us, but it happened to someone else that was sailing with us. We had entered a port. We had stayed overnight, I believe, in this one port, and one couple rented a car to drive around for the afternoon and evening. And they came back to their car after eating dinner somewhere, and they had a parking ticket. And they came back to the ship horrified. What are we going to do? We're leaving this port in 6 hours or something along those lines. And they spoke to Kristin, the director of that ship at the time, and he took care of it. He said, no need to worry. We will send someone back to that city to pay that fine for you. No worries. Keep going on the journey. Don't think another thing about it. And I just found that to be fascinating and just really remarkable about, over the top service.
Thank you so much, Bob, for saying it, because, that's why maybe I don't talk myself too much about service, because for us, it's something that is coming so naturally. It's genuine. It's a genuine approach. We all want to please our guests. That's the ultimate goal that we have, because there's nothing more beautiful than when our guests are on board our ships, when they come home and talk about this experience, which in so many cases they say was the most beautiful experience they had in their life, at least from a vacation experience perspective. And we never want to take anything for granted. And there are so many personal situations that are happening on board where our crew members just take care of it in the most genuine way, because we all want you to come back. We want you to come back with your friends, with your family. And the word of mouth is truly the best marketing tool. There is nothing better than when your clients talk to our clients about an experience of a lifetime and the magical moments.
Absolutely. So we're showing this image of the AmaMagna. Tell the folks that are watching this about this extraordinary vessel, because it really is first of its kind, correct?
Yeah, it is. Yes, it was Rudy's dream for the last 5 years. Because see, the rivers actually are more limited when it comes to the height because of the bridges, but not so much the width, except there are the locks. But the locks on the Danube River are wide enough that 2 regular river cruise ships can fit in. So Rudy said he would love to build a ship that is wide enough to offer you double-size staterooms, suites, a variety of restaurants, of bars, an oversized wellness center, beauty salons, all these things that you can expect on a luxury ocean cruise, yeah? And there are enough ocean cruise clients that have not made the step to the river because many feel they are just confined in a space that is very small and doesn't give enough variety. But with Yama Magna, I can say the variety is the spice of life now. We have 4 different restaurants on board. Our chef's table, of course, we continue with this. We have Jimmy's Wine Bar and Restaurant, named after our late Jimmy Murphy, one of our co-founders. We have our alfresco restaurant on board, where we are serving very fine, the freshest cuisine, I can say. The fish, by the way, never comes frozen. We have contracts with the local fishermen along the rivers and always deliver the freshest fish every day. And that's so important. And then, of course, all these different bars, the libraries, so much space where clients can actually go and just relax, maybe read a book, be on the sun deck, have the feet and the hot tub, or we have a very nice swimming pool on the sun deck, watching the castles and the scenery passing by, enjoying one of those delicious wines from the region and taking all the magic in. It is about the back roads that we are traveling in, because with river cruising, you travel through the country. With ocean cruising mostly, you travel from country to country and you touch a country. And here we really immerse, we get to know the people. We sometimes, when I look at the lower Danube, for instance, we even go into people's houses. They invite us to come. They cook for us. They show us their own traditional recipes. Yeah, it's so personalized. It's so intimate. And with the Ama Magna, with this luxury of space, I believe it's becoming more and more important now, where we talk about social distance, being 6 steps away from each other. On this ship, you have all the space. On the other ships, all of us river cruise lines will have to make adjustments, which we do. We have the right safety protocol in place. Then we can start again. But on this ship, you will not miss anything, because it is truly so spacious, and the crew is so proud to work on this ship, because it is the #1 river cruise ship in the world, and they feel, being selected to serve on this ship, they just love every moment.
Lovely.
So, yeah, and this ship is sailing, of course, the Danube, the upper Danube and the lower Danube, from Wilshofen in Germany into Austria, into Slovakia, to Budapest, Hungary. And then from there, we can go into the lower Danube, the southern part of Hungary, Serbia, Croatia, Romania, and Bulgaria. So a wonderful, wonderful itinerary. 1 week or 2 weeks, it's your choice.
Well, I have to confess something to you, Kristin. Of course, I sailed the Danube. Vicki and I did a couple of years ago, and so we were so excited about AmaWaterways and the Ama Magna that we actually helped a couple book a trip on the Danube on the Ama Magna. And I'm thinking, I'm going to have to sail on that ship sometime. I just have to now.
Yeah,
so
and maybe
beautiful.
with a little bit of luck, you know, there is an owner's suite, more than 710 square feet large. But there are also 6 grand suites, and the regular stateroom. Imagine this: the very regular stateroom. 80% of the staterooms on board our ship are over 250 square feet large.
Wow.
Actually, 350, many of them. So truly the luxury of space, and yeah.
Delightful.
I cannot wait myself to go back on this ship. But then I love all our ships. They are all our children. And also our very first sensational 6, the smaller ones. They are all cruising in France right now, on the Rhone River in Bordeaux, on the Seine. Very, very popular. We were sold out in France on the Seine River. So that's why we are moving a second ship there, because it's so interesting what you see there, the beaches of the Normandy, the World War II history, but also the cheeses, the camembert, the cider, the calvados, the French cognac, and the delectable cuisine and the charm of the French markets and the castles. There is so much to say about this too.
And now you're bringing me to my next question, Kristin, which is, you sail, as you mentioned, on rivers across Europe, Asia, Egypt, and you have your vessel in Africa. So for the traveler that hasn't experienced a river cruise yet, and I use the word yet, how would you describe the difference on the rivers and visiting the countries of some of your most popular itineraries?
Yeah. See, I grew up in Germany on the river, right? And it was the Elbe River, but I have pretty much been on every river altogether. The Danube, many of your clients will start on the Danube because it combines the eastern capitals, Vienna, capital of Austria, Budapest, capital of Hungary, Bratislava, capital of Slovakia, with the very scenic Wachau Valley, which is one of the iconic wine regions in Austria. So it's a combination between stunning cities, culture and nature and wine area and smaller villages as well. But then we have different rivers like the Moselle, for instance, in the heart of Europe, going from Luxembourg into Germany, Trier, the oldest city in Germany, lots of Roman heritage there as well. And then you have so many small castles dotted along the river. Some are ruins, some are still working castles. The Moselle is a small, very windy, very curvy river, not as wide as the Danube or the Rhine, but absolutely adorable and scenic, and has the quaintest and most colorful villages. And the beauty there is when we dock, you walk right into the city. You pretty much don't have to use the bus or a motor coach to bring you into the city center. You just walk off the ship, and it's your choice if you want to join our variety of shore excursions, or maybe do it and later go out on your own. Also maybe go in one of these beautiful wine restaurants, open air restaurants, or share a beer with the locals. That is all part of it, to really indulge in the local experience, and the locals want to have you. They are so friendly. Actually in Zell, that's the Black Cat city on the Moselle, what the locals do is in their wine stores, they have tables outside and they have all the different wine bottles there, and they invite our guests to come and taste all the different wines. And they don't charge. They just want you all to have a wonderful time and enjoy it. Now, obviously, if you buy a bottle, that's a very nice gesture.
Yes,
then.
right.
And you can bring it on board and drink it on the sun deck, and we never have a cover charge there. So those are these unique moments that make river cruising so special. Now, again, when I go back to France, the rivers there are also very different. The Rhone River, the southern part of France, almost Provence area, is a very, it's a river formed into a valley. It has quite a current. It's flowing fast, and again, very scenic, very lush and green, very mountainous around the river. There is Balboa, the chocolate factory. There are castles where we take you to red wine and chocolate tastings. We take you to some beautiful family-owned wineries. Again, only 10 people in one group can go to one winery. They cannot take more. And then the winery owners welcome you in the house and might open the last bottle of a very special wine they had, just because they want to share it with you. They want to share their life and their stories. I mentioned a little bit about the Seine. Also, the Seine is very famous for Claude Monet and the French Impressionists. And then we have Bordeaux. And Bordeaux is, actually, there are 3 rivers that are coming there together. The Gironde, And we have some very iconic chateaus there. Of course, everyone well knows the famous wines, Chateau Margaux, and we take you to many iconic wineries there. We take you to the underground cellars of some of the wineries where you can listen about all the history, followed by the wine tastings in these medieval castles. So, and then of course, it's all about the markets. It's about the markets, the fresh produce in the markets, souvenirs. It's about the people. You know, French people can be actually very, very nice.
Little known fact.
Perception that it's not always happening, but I think that's in every country. But they want to have you. And then we have the Douro. And the Douro Valley in Portugal is the oldest wine growing region. It's also called the Golden Valley, with the steepest vineyards pretty much in the world, similar to the Moselle, back to the Moselle in Germany. Also some of the steepest vineyards in the world. Gigantic wine terraces where we take you out then. We take you to a traditional quinta in the evening where we serve you at dinner. It's a family-owned winery. You will dance there, you will taste the wines there. And the cities on the Douro, they are very traditional, smaller, and lots of religious heritage there. And that's what we then also bring on board in the evening. Traditional evening entertainment, no matter if it's the fado or the Spanish flamenco, because the Douro actually goes into Spain, but we can only go to the Spanish border because then the river doesn't become navigable anymore. But if you book one of our one-way itineraries, then we take you from the Spanish border into Salamanca for a beautiful tour of Salamanca, one of my favorite towns in Spain, and from there to Madrid. Now, this might not be popular at the moment, but think about all the pent-up demand that is coming in 2 years. Everyone wants to go to Spain and Italy again. Maybe next year, people will tend to go more to Germany or Austria or France, the countries that were hit less, but had a very, very good healthcare system to get it all under control. And that's another thing with the rivers. We are on national waters, and the countries have very strict regulations. And if there is a case, and this could be, things happen, you know, people can get sick. We can dock easily in 10 minutes. You know, we have a doctor coming on board, or we can take you to the hospital. And our cruise managers, and you mentioned Kristin, all of our cruise managers are so taking care of you. They are with you 24/7. If something happened, they would go with you to the hospital as well. But everyone speaks English in our countries, right? So we learn it at school, and there is no need to be worried at all.
This conversation is just, it's driving up my pent-up demand to get away and to travel with you guys again very, very soon. And the talk about wine and chocolate, sign me up. How quickly can I go? How quickly can Vicki and I get away? Speaking of looking ahead to when we can travel, I heard from a little birdie that you have a few new itineraries that you've just announced for 2021, correct?
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. When I look forward into 21, 22, it's all in preparation of the future. The tulip time cruises through Holland and Belgium are very popular and are pretty booked already for March, April next year. So those tulip bulb fields, and then of course you see the windmills, the Dutch windmills, so much tradition. Because we get so many bookings for March and April, we decided we want to extend this itinerary into the season May, June, July, September, August, September, October.
Oh, wow.
And because it's not just about the tulips, it's all about the heritage there. Amazing cities like Antwerp and Bruges, the canal boat tours, bicycle tours you can do. Amsterdam is just such a wonderful traditional city. But in 2022, there is happening the Floriade. That is the largest garden show in the world. And it's also about the green future that will be presented at the Floriade in 22. So all our excursions are included, choices of tours, and so will be the Floriade. So this would be one recommendation I have, to look at one of these itineraries. Another one, and you can hear it, I'm in love with France, obviously, but a couple of years ago, I did have a milestone birthday, and I went to the Seine River, and I actually did both the Bordeaux and the Seine. But from the Seine, which I love so much, we would disembark in Le Havre, and had the previous day the full day excursion to the beaches of the Normandy. And from here, we will take you to Mont Saint-Michel, this iconic castle chateau that you see here in the most northern part of France, where Normandy is bordering Brittany. And from here, then we go to Saint-Malo, an old historical town with an old thick town wall. And what a beautiful city center inside. Everything is so medieval, with the freshest seafood in the world. I never had better oysters than in Saint-Malo. So obviously we remember those moments when we shared something that really we cannot forget for the rest of our life. And that's about Mont Saint-Michel and Saint-Malo. And then from there, we take you back to Paris. And who doesn't want to spend a few days in Paris, just going, to the Eiffel Tower? And Paris is such a diversity of things that you can experience there. And one of my favorite parts in Paris is, of course, to go to Montmartre and seeing the beautiful city from the top of the hill and having dinner in one of those beautiful restaurants. And then, of course, if you have clients who wanted to go to Oberammergau, Oberammergau, famous for the Passion Play, the religious plays, they happen every 10 years as well, like the Floriade, every 10 years. So unfortunately, the Passion Play had to be moved from 2020 to 2022. And you can combine this with one of our Danube or Rhine cruises. And one of our Rhine cruises gives you now not just Holland and Germany and France with Strasbourg and Requevier along the French wine route, and all of these beautiful villages that we see there. But we spent a day in Basel in Switzerland. And I like Basel so much because it forms the three-country corner of Switzerland, Germany, and Austria. In fact, when you arrive at the airport in Basel, there is Mulhouse, the French side, where you can exit, and there is Basel, the Swiss side, and the German side, where you can enter and exit, yeah? And still, it's a very small airport. But once we have finished the cruise, then we take you to Lake Como. That is the most fascinating lake district in the world. And you see this picture here. And of course, our cruise managers, they will be your host, not just on the cruise, but also during the pre and post arrangements. So you're with us in one hand. We are the only river cruise line where our cruise managers travel with you from the beginning to the end. And then, of course, back to Italy, it will be popular again. It is about the lifestyle, the cuisine. It's about the Italian wines. It is about how cheerful everything is, the beautiful nature. So when you look into this, maybe in 2021 or 22, think about Lake Como as well as part of our new itineraries. Now, all our ships are registered in Basel in Switzerland. That is also very, very important. It's almost like the Swiss carrier Swiss, right? Where we fly this. We have great contracts with all the airlines, with Lufthansa, Star Alliance, Swiss, with Air France, with Delta, KLM. You can pretty much book everything together with us. And so we take care from the moment you step on board, no matter if it's in Europe, in Asia, or in Africa. We pick you up from the airport, take care of you till, you know, when you finish your cruise and land experience. We bring you back to the airport, and then our hosts, our cruise managers, will wave you goodbye. So you always are in the very best hands with us, top service from the beginning to the end, and pretty much all inclusive. Yeah.
Oh, that's a really good word, and I think a good way to wrap up our conversation. Kristin, you've been very gracious with your time today. Thank you again so much. It's obvious that we have a lot to look forward to with AmaWaterways when we can all get out again and travel. So thank
Yes.
you for joining us again today.
Thank you so much. And our hearts remain on the rivers. The rivers keep flowing, and we look so much forward to welcoming you and your clients on board our beautiful ships in Europe, in Asia, and in Africa. And hopefully I will be able to sail together with you next time. I'm hosting quite often on board our ship. So hopefully you and your clients will all come along and we experience the beauty together.
Oh,
Thank
that'd
you
be
so much for
amazing.
having me.
You're very welcome.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you
For
so
those of
much.
you watching, please join us again next week as we talk with another outstanding travel partner. For now, we'll say goodbye. Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye.
Bob. Bye-bye. Bye-bye,
Bye-bye.
everyone. Bye.